أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما آمين Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to LQ Milton, class number 8, inshallah. The agenda for the class was shared on the WhatsApp group. But before we go into the agenda, the standing item that we have is to do the drill of the pronouns. And pronouns, as we know, are of two types: detached pronouns and attached pronouns. What do we call pronouns in Arabic? Damair. Damair. So damair munfasil are detached pronouns, and damair muttasil are attached pronouns. So far, we've been practicing the detached pronouns, damair munfasil. Very soon, we will begin the verbs. But for us to have a good understanding of the verbs, first we have to memorize the 14 damairs thoroughly, understand them, know where we would use those damairs. Once we know that, verbs will become easier for us. So what are those 14 pronouns? Huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, anta antuma antum, anti antuma antunna, ana nahnu. One more time. Huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, anta antuma antum, anti antuma antunna, ana nahnu. If I have to use a damir or a pronoun for myself, which one would I use? Ana. If I want to use a damir for a feminine gender, third person, singular, which one would I use? Hiya. If I have to use a pronoun or a damir for people who are second person in front of me and they are all masculine gender, what one I use? Antum. So it is important. And if I would change the gender to feminine, which one would I use? Antunna. So it is important for us not only to memorize it, but also to know where these damairs can be used. What is their usage in the language? So huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, anta antuma antum, anti antuma antunna, ana nahnu is the basis for the verbs. After the drill, we'll begin our agenda. And today we are learning about particle of calling. It's a very simple concept. And we're not going to into too much detail. In any language, when we would have to address somebody in front of me directly, or if I want to get their attention, there is a word that I would use. For example, if there is a boy in front of me and I need to get his attention or have to call him, I would say in English, "Oh boy," right? What is this "oh"? Oh boy. Similarly, in other languages, we have different words for getting the attention or calling somebody who is in front of us. That is what we call a particle of calling. Okay, oh boy. Now, you don't use the particle of calling for a person who is a third person. You don't do that. You only do that when somebody is in front of you. You don't do it to a third person. You don't do it to a first person, to yourself. You only do or only use the particle of calling if somebody is in front of you, or if you want to address them, or if you want to get their attention directly. So in English, for example, oh boy, oh is a particle of calling. What do we call particle of calling in Arabic? Harfu nida. We call it harfu nida. Harfu nidain. Particle of calling. Mudaf mudaf alayh. Okay, we are in lesson number 5 and we are learning about mudaf mudaf alayh. We'll do some more examples. What is it? It is ya. I'm going to write few names here. For example, I'm going to write Hamidun and Yasirun. I'm going to write Hamidun and Yasirun. Two names here.
या के क्रॉस वर्ड से पढ़ता है पीछे या बदल या उधर
Hamidun and Yasirun. So if I have to address Hamid directly or get Hamid's attention directly, then I have to bring the harfu nida or the particle of calling ya here. Okay? So instead of saying Hamidun, I would say ya. Ya, and the tanween will go away. Ya Hamidu. Now it means O Hamid. So when the particle of calling comes in front of the name, the tanween will go away and we will have the single dhamma. Simple as that. There are certain other rules attached to the harfu nida or particle of calling. We are not doing them today. We are only going to be doing a very simple introduction of harfu nida today. If I have to address Yasir, Yasir is in front of me and I have to get his attention, or if I have to call him, I would bring in harfu nida ya. Ya Yasiru. O Yasir. O Hamid. O Muhammad. Right? O Ali. This is a very simple introduction of harfu nida, the particle of calling. This is coming in the lesson. So I thought we would do it before we begin the lesson so that we don't get confused. In this lesson, lesson number 5, we are learning about mudaf alayh. And I really hope that you revise the lesson prior coming to the class today. There is a YouTube video available, lesson number 7. But before we begin the actual lesson, let's just do a quick recap to refresh our mind, because some people may not have the chance to review it. If there are two independent nouns and we need to create a possessive case between those two nouns, how do we do that? In Arabic, the concept is called al-idafa. For example, I'm going to write two independent nouns here. Baitun Hamidun. Two independent nouns. Right now they don't have any relation, right? Baitun is a separate noun, Hamid is a separate noun. And I want to say house, Baitun mean house of Hamid. How do I create a possessive case or the concept of al-idafa in Arabic language? First, what I'll do is I'll remove the tanween, Baitu, the thing which is possessed, Baitu. And Hamidun will become Hamidin. Now there is a compound that we have created. This compound is called mudaf mudaf alayh. Baitu is your mudaf, Hamidin is your mudaf alayh, right? House of Hamid. Another example. Rasulun Allahu. Rasulun Allahu. I want to create a relationship of mudaf mudaf alayh, al-idafa. What do I do? Rasulu Allahi, Rasulullahi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, right? Rasulullahi. Now Rasulu is your mudaf, Allahi is your mudaf alayh, right? It's a compound. What do we know about mudaf? Mudaf, and we learned it in the last lesson, but we are just quickly refreshing our mind. Mudaf cannot have an al. You know the particle al? Mudaf cannot have an al. Mudaf cannot have a tanween. Mudaf cannot have a tanween. So remember those two rules. Another one. Kitabun Allahu. Very easy. Mudaf mudaf alayh. Kitabullahi. Now we can say book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Now we can say that. Otherwise there were two independent nouns. We can say Kitabullahi. Another concept that we learned in the last lesson is, what if I will bring a harf jar here or anything, but for now we'll just say harf jar, fi. What is harf jar? Agent of change. And what does harf jar will do to the noun follows it? It will make it majroor. Okay, so kitabu will become kitabi. Now I say fi kitabillahi. This kitabi here is now playing two roles. It is ism majroor because there is a harf jar there. Remember when I say harf jar, immediately you would say ism majroor. No doubt, harf jar will always, always, always be followed by a noun which will be majroor. That's it. Harf jar, ism majroor. Fi, kitabi, ism majroor. Wahuwa mudaf, which means and it is mudaf. Wow. Ism majroor. Huwa mudaf. Ism majroor, wow, ataf, and huwa, it is also a mudaf, and Allahi is mudaf alayh. So let's do a Venn diagram. I think that would be a better way of doing it. Venn diagram, right? This is one compound, and this is the second compound. This is one compound, and this is the second compound. Fi, harf jar, kitabi, ism majroor. Then again kitabi, also a mudaf, and Allahi is your mudaf alayh. So there are two compounds. So kitabi, you see, it's playing the two roles of ism majroor and the mudaf. This concept is coming in the lesson. A quick refresh of what we learned in class number 7. Remember, we talked about the sentences or the jumla are of two types: jumla ismiya and jumla fi'liya. A nominal sentence and a verbal sentence. A nominal sentence or a jumla ismiya is a sentence that begins with a noun, and a verbal sentence or jumla fi'liya is the sentence which begins with a verb, right? In a nominal sentence, what are we looking for? Mubtada and khabar. Subject and predicate. What is predicate? News about the subject, right? We know that. We've been practicing this thing a lot. For khabar, we said there are 5 types of khabar. Right? So far we have learned the 2 types. What are those? If khabar is one word, mufrad. If khabar is one word, which is mufrad, it is marfu. It is marfu. Haza baytun. Remember book 1, lesson 1. Haza baytun, haza masjidun. Baytun and masjidun. Here is your khabar or predicate. Khabar can also be jar majroor. We have learned that in lesson number 3. Khabar can also be a jar majroor. Today we are going to learn about third type of khabar, which is what we call adverb, or in Arabic we call it zarf. Zarf or the adverbs would be discussed in more detail in the coming lessons. Today we are only going to get a very simplistic concept. Very simplistic concept. There are certain nouns in English grammar or English language which would denote about something. For example, if there is something in front of me, or if something is behind me, or if something which is above me, or something which is below me. So what are these below, behind, front, above? What are these words or nouns called in English grammar? Adverbs. They denote a place or sometimes time. For example, come to my house after Maghrib. So what is this after? After is denoting the adverb of time. Above is something. There is some place, there is something, the place, it is denoting a place. So we call it adverb of place. And if the adverb is used to denote a time, it will be called adverb of time. Right? You can Google it, adverb, Google it, and look at the definition. It's easy. In Arabic language, adverbs are called zarf, zarfun. Zarfun, adverb. And if this adverb is denoting the place, we call it zarfun makan. Makanun. Is this a compound? It's not a compound. Okay? So exactly. So I need to create the relation between zarfun and makanun. Mudaf mudaf alayh. So I would say zarfu makanin. Adverb of place. Otherwise they were two independent nouns. See, I kind of tricked. But you got it. Before that, zarfun makanun were two independent nouns. But adverb and then place. But in order for me to create the relationship or the compound, the mudaf mudaf alayh, zarfun become zarfu makanin, adverb of place. And if the zarf or the adverb denotes the time, we call it zarfu zamanin. If you remember these terms as they are, alhamdulillah. If you don't worry about it, because we will be using these terms a lot in the coming lessons. Adverb of place, adverb of time. Now, let's do some examples. If I want to say the bag is under the desk. Under the desk. What is this under? Adverb. So I would say al-haqibatu, which is the bag. For under, I would use tahta. Tahta. Al-haqibatu tahta. The bag is under. Is this a nominal sentence or is this a verbal sentence? It's a nominal sentence. Jumla ismiya. What are we looking in Jumla ismiya? Mubtada khabar. Where is Mubtada? Al-haqibatu. Al-haqiba, sorry, haqibatu. the bag. Al-haqibatu. Where is the khabar? Tahta. Zarf. So this is what I was talking about. This is the third type of khabar. But does it really make sense? The bag is under. Under what? The bag is under. But under what? I would say maktabi, the desk. The desk is under the bag is under the desk. Now some zarf or some adverb would have mudaf alayh for them to make complete sense. If I would remove the mudaf alayh from this sentence, the sentence would not make a sense. Tahta itself does not make a sense. It does not give us a complete predicate or complete news about the subject, which is al-haqibatu. Tahta is shibu jumla. What is shibu jumla? Shibu jumla is a phrase. Shibu jumla means it is a phrase. It gives us some sense of what is going on, but it does not give us the complete sense. And jarun wa majrurun is also a shibu jumla. When I say alal maktabi, on the desk, ala harf jar, al maktabi ism majrur, jarun wa majrurun, shibu jumla, alal maktabi, on the desk. Then your mind is kind of wondering what is actually on the desk. Then you have to bring in the subject for that sentence to make complete sense, right? So you can say al kitabu alal maktabi, the book is on the desk. You can say that. Now it makes complete sense. Similarly, tahta. Al-haqibatu tahta, the bag is under. Then your mind is wondering, under what? Then we will bring in the mudaf alayh. Some zarf have mudaf alayh, some zarfs do not have mudaf alayh. That's all you need for us to remember. As we go along in the course of our study, we will learn more about the adverbs or the zarf. So al-haqibatu is your mubtada, and tahta is your zarf, khabar. Tahta is your zarf, khabar, and al-maktabi is your mudaf alayh. So this is the third kind of khabar we are learning. For now, we are only going to stick with tahta, only one adverb, only one zarf. We're not going to go on fawqa, amama, khalfa, ba'da. There are many zarfs. But for now, just to understand the concept of zarf or the adverb, we're only going to stick with tahta for now, because tahta is used in the lesson. There's another adverb or the zarf used in the lesson, which is hunaka. Hunaka is over there. Now hunaka does not need the mudaf alayh, and we'll see that in the lesson. We will see hunaka does not need a mudaf alayh. Some zarf do need the mudaf alayh. We call it mudaf alayh to make complete sense out of them. So al-haqibatu is your mubtada, the subject. Tahta is your zarf. You can say shibu jumla, and al-maktabi mudaf alayh. Khalid bhai, clear?
Yes.
Let's do or start the lesson number 5. And start with a very easy exercise on page number 28. Page number 28 of book 1, lesson 5. Very easy exercise. And this is to sharpen our concept of mudaf mudaf alayh. Are we all there? Page number 28. Let's take a look at the first example. Kitabun Muhammadun. Two independent nouns. They do not have any relation. Kitabun Muhammadun. Now Dr. Saab is creating the al-idafa, the possessive case for those two independent nouns. So he's saying Kitabu Muhammadin. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. Now we say book of Muhammad. Book of Muhammad. Next one. Maktabun al-Mudarrisu. Maktabun al-Mudarrisu. Create the relationship of al-idafa or possessive case. Maktabul Mudarrisi. Desk of the teacher. Desk of the teacher, right? How many times on a daily basis we say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim? Many times, right? I'm going to write Ismun. This is Hamzatul Wasal, the Hamza of assimilation. We've done that in lesson number 3, I guess. Ismun. And the second noun, Allahu. How many times we say Bismillah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim? If I want to create the case of al-idafa, the possessive case, what do I do? Ismullahi, name of Allah. Name of Allah. Now we did that. If I bring the
कैसे हो जाएगा? लिखे इस्मुल्लाह.
huh?
कैसा आएगा? लिख के अलिफ के नीचे कैसा आएगा? इस्मुल्लाह.
Yeah. If I bring the harf jar B, now it's Bismillahi. This Hamza is Hamzatul Wasal. It assimilates. So B will connect directly to the scene. Bismillah. And then since it is so frequently used, the Hamza get dropped most of the time and we call it Bismillah. Bismillah. Remove harf jar B, name of Allah. Bring harf jar B in the name of Allah. Remove harf jar B, name of Allah. Bring harf jar B in the name of Allah. Bismillah. I'm not going to Ar-Rahmani Ar-Rahimi because those are adjectives. We have not done the adjective yet. So we'll leave that for later part. But we are just analyzing Bismillah at this time. So this Hamza is Hamzatul Wasal. It is so frequently used, sometimes it gets dropped and we write it like Bismillah, in the name of Allah. So now we know why we translate Bismillah as in the name of Allah. Mudaf alayh. How many roles ism is playing here two roles. It is ism majroor and it is also a mudaf. Allahi is mudaf alayh. Have you ever thought from this angle before what Bismillah really means? Now, next time when we will do Bismillah, we will not say it casually. We will not say Bismillah and just move on. We'll think about it. What exactly are we saying? And what does it mean? So going back to the lesson number 5. Let's do the exercise. Two independent nouns. Qalamun hamidun. Qalamun hamidun. Create the possessive case. Al-idafa. Mudaf mudaf alayh. Qalamu hamidin. Pen of Hamid. We do it quickly now. Baitun, write it down. Dr. Saab has given us the space for us to write it up. So write it down. It makes us strong. Baitun Abbasun. Create possessive case. Baitu Abbasin. House of Abbas. Ghurfatun Aliyun. Ghurfatu Aliyin. Ghurfatu means room. Room of Ali. Daftarun Sa'idun. Notebook. Daftarun means notebook. Just write notebook for vocabulary. Daftarun Sa'idun. Daftaru Sa'idin. Now we can say notebook of Sa'id. Mindilun Yasirun. Mindil means handkerchief. Handkerchief of Yasir. Qamisun Ammarun. Create as al-idafa. Qamisu Ammarin. What is Qamisu? Mudaf. Does it have an al? No. Does it have tanween? No. Mudaf cannot have an al. Mudaf cannot have a tanween. Mudaf cannot have an al. Mudaf cannot have a tanween. Sarirun Khalidun. Sarirun means bed. Sariru Khalidin. Bed of Khalid. Miftahun al-baytu. Miftahun al-baytu. Now this is Hamzatul Wasal here. Similarly here, Hamzatul Wasal. Miftahul bayti. Key of the house. The house. Al-bayti. The house. Because al came. Now, mudaf alayh can have an al. Now, Dr. Saab is very cleverly bringing in al, exactly, bringing an al, but al is not on mudaf. Al is on mudaf alayh. Mudaf alayh can have an al. Yes, just like here. Dukanut tajiru. Dukanun at-tajiru. Dukanut tajiri. Dukanut tajiri. Shop of the merchant. The merchant. Baitun al-muhandisu. Baitun is house. You see how after each noun Dr. Saab is placing a comma there, denoting that they are two independent nouns. Just watch. I mean, Dr. Saab has a logic here. He's putting those two nouns, and between the two nouns he's putting a comma, which means he's saying to us these are two independent nouns. And then he's giving us the task to create the compound mudaf mudaf alayh. So, Baitul Muhandisi, house of the engineer. Ismun al waladu. Ismul waladi. Kitabun Allahu. Book and Allah. Kitabullahi. Kitabullahi. Book of Allah. Bintun at-tabibu. Bintun at-tabibu. Bintut tabibi. Daughter of the doctor. Miftahun as-sayyaratu. Miftahun as-sayyaratu. Miftahun means key. Miftahus sayyarati. Key of the car. Key of the car. Think about it. Write it down. Practice. Practice as much as you can. Quran is a living miracle of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? Us, as the follower of Islam and ummati of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would need to read the Quran in Arabic and understand the Quran in Arabic. All our lives, we have spent many years to become doctors, to become engineers, to become accountants, or any profession we have, or engineers, or any profession we have. We spent years and practice to achieve professional excellence in our lives, or learn other languages. Some of us may be learning French or English. They have their own languages as well. But this is our duty, to learn the Arabic, to understand the Book of Allah, to understand our deen, which is being in Al-Quran, the Book of Allah. So try to find time to learn this language and understand, because at the end of the day, we will be asked not about how good we were as engineers, or how good we were as doctors, or how good we were as businessmen, or whatever that is. We will not be asked about those things. We will be asked about how good we were in our deen. That is the end result. And this is a key to understanding the Book of Allah, the Arabic language. So consider this as your priority. Work hard, practice, spend some time. Don't take it lightly. We have the videos on YouTube. Go and watch these videos if you forget things. Spend some time in Quran. Try to see for and look for these tools that we are learning in this class. Apply those tools. Look at the translation. And I guarantee you, slowly, over the period of few years, you will see a visible change in how you are going to understand the Quran. In the past few weeks, we shared a survey, and I'll inshallah share the results of those surveys on the WhatsApp group. A vast majority of students who are attending the class or looking or watching at the YouTube videos, they said that the understanding of Quran has increased since they have started this class. I forget what is the percentage. I don't want to quote a percentage, but it was vast majority of the students said. Nobody said no so far, and only very small majority said maybe. But I'll share the results with you, with the comments as is. I'll compile the results. So the message here is to work hard and practice. Next exercise. Exercise number 3, same page, page number 28. Ikra waktub, read and write. Ma, with dabti awakhir al kalimati, with proper or suitable Arabs at the end for these words. Now these are all the cases where we have mudaf alayh. And in the old books they do not have the Arabs. I'm not sure about the new books. So put the Arabs. How do we put the Arabs? Babul Madrasa T. T. Majroor. Babul Madrasati, door of the school. Hima Rur Raju Li, donkey of the man. Baitu Hami, then put the Arabs. Baitu, not tun, because this is mudaf and there is no al. Baitu Hami, then Sayyaratul Mudiri. Sayyaratu means car. Sayyaratul Mudiri, car of the headmaster. Mindilu Amma Ren, handkerchief of Ammar. Ismut Tali B, name of the student. Baitullahi. Now, Baitullahi, house of Allah. How many times we say Kitabullah, Baitullah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How many times we say that? Now we know what exactly are we saying. Bismillah. Fi Kitabillahi. We just did this example. Fi Kitabillahi, in book of Allah. Now Kitabi here is playing two roles. Isam Majroor and also it is Mudaf. So Isam Majroor, Wahuwa Mudaf, and Allahi Mudaf alayh. Min Baitil Mudarrisi, from house of the teacher. Ala Maktabil Mudiri, on desk of the headmaster. Let's go back to the main lesson on page number 27. Ad-Darsul Khamisu, lesson number 5. Saeed. Now this is a conversation between and Ali as well. The three friends. They are talking among each other. Let's see what they're saying. Saeed said, Akitabu Muhammadin Haza ya Yasirun or Yasiru? Yasiru. There is single dhamma. See, Harfu Nida came. And when Harfu Nida came, Yasirun will become Yasiru. What does that mean? That Saeed is, even though he may have Ali and Saeed and Yasir sitting in front of me or in front of, he's trying to get the attention of Yasir. So he's using Harfu Nida, particle of calling. A kitabu, what is a? Hamza to Istifham. Hamza to Istifham. It always comes in the beginning of the sentence. Kitabu Muhammadin, book of Muhammad. Is this book of Muhammad Haza? This? Is this book of Muhammad? Ya Yasir, O Yasir, O Yasir. That's how we translate it. Yasir said, La. Harful Jawab. We did that. Harful Jawab. La, no. Then comes Haza Kitabu Hamidin. What kind of sentence is that? Nominal sentence. Jumla Ismiya. Where is Mubtada? Haza. Where is Khabar? Kitabu. Kitabu. Okay? So Khabar is of 5 times. And this is a very common mistake, so that's why I'm emphasizing. Don't say Kitabu Muhammadin is the Khabar. No. Muhammadin is Mudaf alayh. Khabar is of 5 types. If Khabar is one word, then it is Marfu. Then it is Marfu. Khabar can also be Jar Majroor. Khabar can also be Zarf. So Khabar here is only Kitabu. Wahuwa, and it is also a mudaf, and Hamidin is mudaf alayh. So most people say Kitabu Muhammadin is the khabar. No, it's not. Only Kitabu is the khabar. Haza Kitabu. Now why Kitabu have a single dhamma, not Kitabun? Because it is a mudaf. And mudaf cannot have a tanween. A mudaf cannot have an al. And Muhammadin is mudaf alayh. Saeed said, Aina Kitabu Muhammadin. Aina means where. Aina means where. We're not going to analyze the questions until book 3. Until book 3. Questions. Any sentence with a question mark, we're not going to analyze them until book 3. Dr. Saab has strict instructions about that. Aina Kitabu Muhammadin. What is Kitabu Muhammadin? Mudaf alayh. Book of Muhammad. Where is Book of Muhammad? Yasir said, Huwa. What is Huwa? Damir Munfasil. Huwa means he or it. He or it. Similarly, Hiya is she or it. So Yasir said, Huwa, it is Alal Maktabi Hunaka. Yasir said, Huwa. Is this a Jumla Ismiya or a Jumla Failure? Ismiya, because it begins with a pronoun, a noun. Huwa. Is Huwa marfu? It is marfu. We already said that in the previous classes that all the Myers, Munfasil, the detached pronouns are marfu. But they are mabni. And they are definite. Right? So Huwa here is marfu and definite. And therefore it qualifies as to be a subject, mubtada. Why Huwa is definite here? Because it refers back to Kitabu. The conversation is going on. When I say Huwa, I immediately know we are talking about the book. The book of Muhammad. Right? That's what the question is. Ya Aina Kitabu Muhammadin. Where is the book of Muhammad? And I'm saying it is. So immediately I know Huwa is going back to Kitabu Muhammadin, book of Muhammadin. So it is marfu, it is definite, it is mubtada. Mim, mim, mim. Remember? Mim, mim, mim. Where is the khabar? Alal maktabi. Alal maktabi. Jarun wa majrurun shibu jumla khabar. Ala harf jar, al maktabi some majroor. It is on the desk. On the desk. Hunaka. Over there. What is over there? Zarf. Adverb. And it denotes a time or a place. A place. Because he's pointing towards hunaka. Hunaka over there. He's denoting or he's pointing towards a place. So it is a zarf. But this zarf would not have the mudaf alayh. Hunaka does not have the mudaf alayh. So we will say huwa mubtada, alal maktabi, jarun wa majrurun, khabar. Hunaka is zarf, zarfu makan. Zarfu makan. That's it. Saeed said, Aina daftaru Ammarin. Where is notebook of Ammar? Yasir said, Huwa, again Huwa, ala maktabil mudarrisi. It is on the desk, of the teacher. On desk of the teacher, because al comes with the teacher.
Right.
What is huwa? Mubtada. Where is khabar? Ala maktabi. Jarun wa majrurun shibu jumla khabar. and al-madrasi, al-mudarrisi, mudaf alayh. Is a mudaf. Ala harf jar, maktabi, ism majroor, and it is also playing a role of mudaf, and al-mudarrisi is mudaf alayh. It is on the desk, of the teacher, of maktabil mudarrisi, desk of the teacher. So do a Venn diagram. The Venn diagram that we made, ala maktabi is one compound and maktabil mudarrisi is second compound. So maktabi will have the kasra and will have it's playing role in two compounds under the Venn diagram, right? So we would know it's playing two roles. Said said, Qalamu man haza ya aliyun. Qalamu man. Whose pen is this, ya Ali? Qalamu man. What is man? Noun. It's a noun. Interrogative noun. Whose noun? Interrogative noun. We have done that. Man. Man haza. Who is this? Qalamu man haza ya Ali. Now qalamu. Why qalamu? Why not qalamun? Because qalamu man is mudaf alayh. Whose pen? Whose pen? The pen, qalamu is mudaf and man is mudaf alayh. Man is mabni. We have already determined it. Man would not change its state. So man here is playing the role of mudaf alayh. If you remember this thing, that's fine. If not, don't worry about it, because Dr. Saab, even though it's bringing in the concept of qalamu man, and there is an exercise in the lesson as well, we'll do it in more detail next time. Right now, qalamu man haza, whose pen is this, ya Ali? Ali said haza qalamul mudarrisi. Haza qalamul mudarrisi. This is pen of the teacher. Of the teacher. Where is mubtada? What is qalamu? And mudaf. Qalamu is khabar and mudaf, playing two roles. Qalamu is khabar for haza and mudaf for al mudarrisi. This is pen of the teacher. Said said, Aina haqibatul mudarrisi. Haqibatu means the bag. Aina haqibatul mudarrisi. Where is the bag of the teacher? Ali said, Hiya. Why hiya? Why not huwa? Haqibatu. Remember I said, when the noun ends with the ta marbuta or the gol ta, it is feminine in nature. Feminine in nature. So haqibatu is feminine in nature. So instead of using huwa, now Dr. Saab is bringing in hiya, because I cannot say huwa here, because haqibatu is feminine noun, feminine noun. So Ali said hiya tahta. Where is the khabar? Where is the mubtada? Hiya. Hiya. Damir munfasil, detached pronoun, right? Where is the khabar? Tahta. Zarf. It is under. Now here, tahta is zarf and is pointing towards under, somewhere, under something, a place. Does it make complete sense? No. So I have to bring in the mudaf alayh after that. So I say tahatal maktabi, under the desk. Under the desk. So we say hiya mubtada, tahta zarfu makan, adverb of place, is denoting towards a place. Tahta zarf, khabar, shubu jumla khabar, and al maktabi مضاف الیہ. That brings us end to our lesson, the main lesson, lesson number 5, and we'll do the exercise in the next class, inshallah. And try to revise this lesson on YouTube. Try to analyze it yourself. Read those lessons carefully and apply these tools when we read Quran or when we listen to the Quran. So inshallah we'll,
Is there any question?
yeah, are there any questions? There are no questions? Okay. Okay. So inshallah we'll see you next Saturday. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ.